is like the basic street mod things. Exhaust you can put, intake you can put, uh, coilovers you cannot put, suspension you can't touch. Like the stock regulations are aimed at the street racers.
Correct.
So that they should be like we can take part as it is in our own car. In the open, you can do any kind of modifications as long as the safety criteria is met.
Okay.
So that's how we just bifurcated into two parts now.
Okay.
So that's how we've kept it simpler. So the basic mods now are stock. Like you want your average street racer to come to the track and participate, right?
In part 2, we are zooming into the world of BND Motorsports with Lakshay. He breaks down how BND Race Wars is revving up the scene, making motorsports a playground for everyone, no matter the car or skill level. He dives into race structures, safety nets for mishaps, and how they align with FMSCI rules to keep things smooth and safe for everyone. And hey, ever wonder about race penalties? Lakshay throws a light on those tricky situations and how they ensure fairness for all racers. Buckle up. It's all about speed, safety, and fair play here at BND Race Wars.
But what made you take that decision? Was it that I think you lightly also just अभी हल्के में you just mentioned that you know what that as a driver in many of the races आपको भी ऐसा लगा नहीं यार ये चीज़ें ऐसी नहीं होनी चाहिए ये चीज़ ऐसी नहीं होनी चाहिए but मैं अभी कुछ change कर नहीं सकता because I am not the organizer.
Yeah.
Was it this that made you want to start a series of events on your own or what was it?
So that was basically what, and I was like, honestly, every youngster that time thinks कि ऐसा क्या ही है कि जो नहीं कर सकते, सीखना ही तो है. That will to learn was there and will to work was there. I remember my first SR, Mr. J.S. Desai, sir, he helped me out. He taught me basically that do this changes. I also now pass on the same thing to any, there's an event coming up in Panchkula, the guy called me up for help. I told him this is my SR, use it as your base and make your own. Like now I've seen a lot of events in South. There was one big event, I saw their SR, it was like copy paste of my SR and I was like happy with it. ठीक है, like at least we are doing something right, that's why people are copying us.
Correct.
With the SR and all and everything. So people helped me out. I asked and everyone was like, there was so much politics in the air at that time. People used to, and I was like, I will ask for help from everyone. Whoever helps, helps. Whoever does not help, does not help. I'm like, okay, it does not, because I was neutral with everyone. A lot of people helped me out. Like I learned a lot of things myself as well. And our core personality was for BND was like being competitor friendly.
Okay.
So which we still are, and we want to like keep on going on that, because listening to the competitors and addressing their concerns, because I could relate as a driver where they're coming from. So I could tell them in a way that the driver will understand that how it's happening, and we were the most transparent. Like we maybe we were like, someone was like, my timing is not. मैंने कहा आजा भाई, आजा साथ बैठ देख दिखा देते हैं तेरे को बता. You want to see our records, you see. End of the day, as an organizer, we don't care who wins, honestly. We just want the best man to win. I have no bias, and honestly, I don't even see the results till I'm doing the prize distribution of my events. I don't know who has won. So we started from there. We were very transparent. We were a group of young people. Then we had developed our own timing system. My junior, he was in BTech in Manipal, Shabab Alam. So he's a very intelligent guy. So currently working in a company in Hyderabad. But then for his project and all, he made the timing system.
Oh wow!
So we tried to build things. We basically tried to revolutionize the sport, like shake things up, because everything was like going like same and all. And So we
And I think one more thing which I have observed, I'm sorry I'm cutting in the middle, that you've made it accessible to people.
Yeah.
You've made it accessible to people. I don't remember back in the day motorsports being so accessible to everybody or every guy or girl who wants to drive or he wants to learn how to drive fast or drive fast in an organized fashion, in a closed circuit. Because I feel अब बाहर सड़कों पे आप जाओ लोग ऐसे गाड़ी चला रहे होते हैं.
Yeah.
I just feel like telling them that, yeah, guys, there's a platform. Just, why don't you just
Exactly.
vent it out there?
Exactly. So when we started again, when we used to tell the college itself, like everyone has to be taken on board, and just explaining motorsport to them, to any new guy who
Good
has
stuff.
not, who does not know about the sport. So we have to tell them, make them aware that it's not street racing; it is organized sport. There is a set of rules. There are standard operating procedures. There's safety involved. You just can't turn up and drive, right? But again, what we have been trying to work on is, if someone turns up, we want to enable. We are the enablers. We want to be the enablers to make them drive on the
that's
event.
nice.
Like there's so many things. Like there are so many small barriers. Like people get. When I started, there was the form. There was FMSC license. That days, internet was also not that great. And then again, emailing the form, downloading, printing, then couriering them the documents and all. It was pretty like a long process. And honestly, people in the masses and all, if you want everyone to come and drive, you have to make them accessible, make it accessible for them.
Sure.
So now we try and provide, like till the last step, we want to give them assistance. FMSC license on the spot available.
Okay.
Right. When there were full sleeves made compulsory by the federation, we gave them the sleeves. Okay, you can purchase them right there, right then. Okay, those rules were not made by us, but again, the compliance from FMSCI has been absurd in so many cases that they come, they change the rules like every season. Everyone wants to do something, take the sport in this direction, but hardly we find the rules becoming competitor direction, like making it easier and all. Safety has to be there, and I am like full on board with safety and all. But again, sometimes people use safety as an example to just basically do make any kind of rules and all, which is practically not possible in a lot of cars and all. They were like, when the new autocross regulations came in place, we had long discussion, like mail trail, where we had like 21, 22
With FMSCI.
Yeah, we had 21, 22 waivers. The autocross commission chairman did not wanted to give so I asked for 22 waivers. He gave me 18, 19, but 3 main waivers and all were still not there. I was like, I mean, you are agreeing
But
to my waivers.
Can you give an example? Because I think बहुत लोग ये चीज जानना भी चाहेंगे सुनना भी चाहेंगे.
So
because
they say, for one small example is I mean the mails and the discussion was getting pretty funny. I was like, okay, because they never had someone probably that keeps on persisting with the argument and all. They're like, there should be a circuit breaker in the modified cars. Okay, what defines a modified car? You put coilovers, you get into modified. Okay, you can drive with the stock seat harness.
Circuit breaker is that kill switch.
Kill switch. Okay. Now I got a BMW M4. I put a coilover on it. That's a modified car.
लगा लो इसमें
circuit breaker. मतलब
I think something जो मैंने सुना है कि
rules are being made still with the Zen's esteems in mind. Cars are not there right now.
Do you think that अभी भी जो rules हैं, I mean, when I'm asking these questions to you, honestly, I don't mean any, there is no negativity for FMSCI here. I think they are also evolving, but tell me one thing, do you still think that FMSCI's rules and regulations are dated and they need to be changed right now?
Thankfully, they are being, especially in the grassroots commission.
Okay. How so?
That event we did not do an autocross. We did a time attack. So that is under the grassroots commission. Okay. So grassroots commission led by Mr. Veer Dabas. So he listens to all the organizers and all, and the regulations are still safety centric, but still accessible for all the kind of cars. See, the point is federation wants more participation, right? But then you make rules such like one I quoted as an example. So how you can't make anyone participate with those regulations?
Correct.
So what is the solution? Like if I don't get participation, I will not do an event, right? If I get 20 cars and drivers, I can't even get 1/10 of my rent done to BIC and all, right? So again, then what's the point? Then the sport dies.
Correct.
Right, we need people to come and participate. We are trying to make it accessible, but then sometimes the federation comes up with so many new things which are currently not in line with the ground level scenario. So and then we have to again, that is waste of energy from my side, because I don't want to be like a member club, and the federation works in a like a kind of strange way that there are like 8 clubs in the council. There are 6 founder clubs which are permanent. Like United Nations Security Council is there, like 6 permanent clubs are there. 2 are on rotation basis. So they're voting for those 2 clubs and all. So
who votes? Internally?
The member clubs. To be a member club, you have to pay an annual fee of some 30-40k, which is, again, I find it like I will spend that 30-40k on my competitors. Why do I want to pay to FMSCI, honestly? And I did a cup. I took a cup permit as well in 2020. And then that was like one event I spent 60k to FMSCI just to call it a cup. And I was like, why? Why should I not spend that on my competitors?
Correct.
Right, to make it. And again, earlier we gave some cash prizes initially, like small amounts. But then again, we found it like we know who is going to win overall top 3 and all. So so we started like using that amount in upgrading the event in general so that everyone benefits from it. So when we started, there were no chairs, there were no canopies, there was nothing in the first race was. It was like a pure basic grassroots event. So then slowly we've added things up. Upgraded the experience and all.
Correct.
So that's how we've been trying to like improve the experience for everyone and all. The sporting side has been there. We've tried to make new layouts. We make new layouts
every single time. Yeah.
But like this time it was again completely new. Last 2 race wars, it was completely new. We did so many new concepts, like that pink slips, never been done before in India. 2 tracks identical side by side.
Okay.
So there's a like.
What was the logic behind it? What made you do that?
I want to do something new.
How about kuch to socha hoga?
Yeah. So the point is, see again, that is my driver intrigue kicking in, like into the organizer part.
Okay. So, I mean, why I'm asking you that question is because generally क्या होता है ना, अगर 2 गाड़ियाँ अगल बगल में चल रही हैं तो 99% जो लोगों का perception होता है that this guy is racing against this guy.
Yeah.
So what made you come up with this concept कि यार 2 गाड़ियाँ अगल बगल में चलेंगी, but it's not that this guy is racing against this guy.
Yeah. So that is a different kind of pressure. In the twin track that we normally do, start and finish is there. Then the cars are, one is on X point of the track, one is on the Y point. So they're never like close. In this, we had one beta fence going in through between. So that we've got length of the track and we've divided into 2 rectangles. Now, we measured every corner. Me and Vishal and the rest of the team. We got like long, those measuring tapes and everything. So you take a start and you doing identical turns parallelly. I have some footages I'll show you later. Like you can, if you have a straight, you can turn right or left and see where your rival is at all points of time, because he's right there on the other side of the fence doing the same corners. Right? So that is like extra pressure. Like imagine the feeling.
But doesn't that distract drivers?
That's what makes you a good driver. So if you get distracted, you'll hit a cone only. You have to focus, right? In twin also, what people do is, if they see when they're nearing the finish, they see, I'm behind. So then they try to overdo it and they hit a cone. Right?
Correct.
And sometimes they see that we're very close. So that last corner, the pressure is on the drivers, right?
मतलब I can tell you one thing, as you're telling me this, मैंने आज तक मैंने चलाया नहीं ऑटोक्रॉस में, मेरे पास गाड़ी है नहीं honestly ऑटोक्रॉस में चलाने के लिए, but as you're telling me this, I can already like even if I imagine myself behind a steering wheel and parallelly let's say if somebody is driving, एक वो I can't even imagine एक constant pressure कितना रहेगा.
Yeah, but normally you can't see the other car because if you're taking a left-hander, he's taking a left-hander, so he can see you going that side. But then again, normally there's a big fence in it. Your distance is very wide. But if there is a straight, you get time to think, right? Like 5 seconds of straight line, for example. So you'll have a quick glance, right? If I'm leading or if I'm behind, right? So that is an added like pressure into the. We also did another super crazy thing, which was a relay race in motorsport. In that event, no one has done it ever.
I've never seen that. What is it?
So again, 2 separate tracks. You got a team of 2, both sides.
Okay.
So driver 1 of both teams take start. Once the driver 1 reaches the finish, the second driver who's in the holding area, once he reaches the finish, then only light goes green for the second driver. Like it was a pressure environment again because the second drivers can see कि दूसरी टीम वाला भी आया या नहीं आया.
Correct.
एंड मेरा वाला कहाँ रह गया है, वो आएगा तो मैं जाऊंगा, एंड यू कांट, एंड अगर वो हिला तो जंप स्टार्ट. सेकंड ड्राइवर कांट मूव टिल द लाइट गोज ग्रीन फॉर हिम. लाइट विल ओनली गो ग्रीन वंस द अदर गाय रीचेस द फिनिश. सो that was technically executing was very difficult. We had to sit with Chronopulse, Mr. Sameer Suneja, and like brainstorm it for a couple of months before we were like, we will do it.
Because obviously once you start that, it's not like there is a lot of room for error.
There is no system ready made for that. We had to.
And there is no room for error. Now that you're talking about it, it's ultimately two cars gunning themselves like the living daylights out of them. कहीं कुछ गड़बड़ हो गई तो you have to have it planned कि अगर ये हुआ तो
exactly
क्या करना है.
So we did some 5-10 relay races. That was very exciting. Like it was like super amazing to see because till you're at the start, both the cars are idling. Right, and the driver too was like Karan Malik also took part in that. He was very happy with the relay because like he's sitting like full pressure mein. He's waiting for Gurjot to come take the finish and all.
Karan pressure लेता है?
Because he's sitting doing nothing for 1.5 minutes.
उससे बात करके लगता नहीं कि tension लेता है इतनी.
All drivers take pressure. All drivers take pressure in a different level, different scenarios.
Okay.
And we have used. And it's been used against me as well to basically beat each other on track a lot of times. We all the old guys know each other's more or less strengths and weaknesses. So, I have also like beaten Achintya and all using pressure a lot of times. I have also taken pressure a lot of times unnecessarily. That's part of the game. Okay. So now it's basically once you get above the like fear of losing, like. So then like okay ठीक है क्या होगा हार ही जाएंगे.
तो अभी in the last section what you mentioned about that एक आपका जो 2 ड्राइविंग फॉर्मेट जो आपने इंट्रोड्यूस करे थे कि ड्राइविंग पैरेलली एंड देन द रिले फॉर्मेट, आई एम श्योर उसकी वजह से काफ़ी सारे ड्राइवर्स के अंदर एक हुआ होगा कि इन केस मेरा जो पार्टनर है वो टाइम पे नहीं आया या उस चीज़ को ऐसी 10 चीज़ें होंगी जिसकी वजह से ड्राइवर्स के अमंगस्ट कन्फ्यूजन होगा, कई बार ब्लेम आपको भी कर रहे होंगे. सो how do you handle all of that, and give me a couple of examples of things that have come on you from the driver's side and how have you handled that?
See, a lot of drivers do come up with queries. Normally, first advantage we have is we have always been transparent. Again, so wherever needed, I remember initial days when people used to come, where is my penalty? कहाँ कौन गिरा था? So I remember very young days मैं ड्राइवर को ले जाता था मार्शल पोस्ट. मैंने कहीं भी बता दी ये वाला गिरा था. एलिमेंट मिस बहुत होते थे लोगों के. When we started driving, remembering the track was a part of the challenge. But जो अभी नए normally newcomers हैं उनके लिए वो थोड़ा सा difficult रहता है. So people get lot of DNF. and a DNF is very painful. Like your whole run is basically ruined. So you get people calculated like my whole run for whatever amount of money it is. कि नहीं यार ये तो waste हो गया and all.
What's the full form of DNF just for the viewers?
Did not finish.
Did not finish. Okay.
So basically,
तो वो पूरा run ही खत्म हो जाता है.
Yeah, because you have not completed the full course.
Correct.
So your time is basically not representative.
Okay.
It cannot be counted. Right? It's basically in simple terms like a shortcut.
Okay. Understood.
Right. So, so that is also in our tracks we try to make it simpler over the years. Now we try to make it like you see only one way where you will go. Still we get few, but not as many as we used to get earlier. So we evolved the tracks as per the competitors' experiences well over the years. A lot of people come up with timing queries and all. So timing vendor earlier we used to do with a different vendor. Before that we used to run our own timing. Now currently we're running Chronopulse. So the interfaces are a little different. Normally all these queries get settled like very quickly. And in all of our events, all the sporting queries I handle myself personally. I am available through any of the touch points, be it registration, be it time control lineup or anything.
Okay.
All my team have radio sets with them.
Okay.
Any queries if I'm needed, people can ring me up through that.
Sure.
Right. And I get a lot of queries. I come, if needed, I come there, I explain it to
नहीं वो
them.
तो मैंने भी थी क्या? See, I have not been a competitor, but I have observed कि you're there, you have your scooty there and you're running around.
Yeah.
So on that, I mean, this is one thing about timing, but what I actually mean to ask you is कि यार कई सारे ऐसे instances होंगे that the competitors they start blaming BND for that.
Yeah.
तो वो दो तीन चीजें क्या है आपके experience में?
Thankfully, not many experiences like that.
Great.
Because when I used to drive, I used to face those things. Simple things such as just marking down the cones.
Okay.
Right. What used to happen, especially in dirt events, earlier was like the track would change dramatically overnight.
Okay.
ट्रैक रिपेयर होने के लिए जाता था तो कोन्स हिल जाते थे. देयर वाज नो markers on them. So because we started with dirt events, tarmac we did later. So we used to put a lot of tuna powder and all under the cone. That mark will be there like any which ways. कितना ही cone हिल जाए वो कुछ 1-2 centimeters से ज़्यादा इधर उधर नहीं हो सकता वापस लगाने जाएंगे तो. So these all simple things, simple solutions which were not being done by the other organizers. We focused on that.
Well, I think because of the fact that you have been a competitor a good number of years in your life, you have taken care of that.
Yeah. So we mark all the cones.
Okay.
So sometimes there is like there are challenges such as in a twin track. What happens is that if the cars are like pretty close and one car catches the another car, so we give the red flag to the car who has caught up. We give them a rerun. Okay. So that is part of the game basically. Sometimes it happens, but we have the solution available for all these kind of situations. So in that case, we take the marshal's opinion and the COC opinion, DCOC is there at the start. Okay. So we can see it happening in the race first especially. So in any case, if that happens, we proactively are very we work towards giving them like a valid solution. Okay. See, it's again there are a lot of dynamics at play, right? In case there's a breakdown of car in front of you, right? And it's happened. It can happen. It can happen in any sport. So in that case, a rerun is given. Sometimes the cone basically normally the marshals are like pretty active, but there are situations where the marshal's safety cannot be compromised, so they cannot reach to that cone in that point of time. So depending on how the severity and all and everything, so we take a call on that again. So it's a very rare scenarios because we have all the cone marked and everything. There are scenarios where people like have an element miss that like मैंने कहाँ मिस करा मेरे ट्रैक याद नहीं हो रहा है and all. So we tell them to please take the track walk again. Please watch the track video again. So when we were driving initially, we used to take it very religiously. Like all remembering the track was like very important for us. Yeah. I remember I used to make notes on my phone of the track that it will be medium right into medium left when there used to be long tracks.
Yeah.
Now it's like the track is like not that long, like it's not a 5 kilometer track, but so you can remember it. But then again, it's something that the competitors also need to raise their game, because if you remember the track, you will not react to the corner, you will
Correct.
plan your
You
corner.
will respond to it. Huh?
Yeah, you can plan your lap.
Correct.
That I need to be little slower into entering this corner so I can exit faster in this corner.
Sure.
So that kind of thing will help the competitors themselves.
Okay.
And a lot of things such as like normally we get timing related queries and
Okay.
all. There's some disciplinary things that sometimes happen because the amount of people we have at the event, and so it's sometimes a very fine line that we try to walk. Sometimes we are on this side, sometimes are we on that side. But
Understood.
normally, see, all the drivers and all the people who are present there, we have not had any like bad experiences there and all. But again, we take inputs from all the competitors, and if we see anything and all. I remember we used to do random, and we still have the equipment available. We do it whenever there is night. Random breath analyzer we have.
Okay.
So we put it randomly to different
Oh.
people and all.
Okay.
So this is something the FMSCI should also support, because we don't gain anything by people flouting the rules, right?
Correct.
So that is something they should like put the stewards and the FMSCI officials, because they have it'll look good on them as well, look good on
Of
us,
course.
and we will support them fully.
And in totality, they will also be a part of supporting this
Exactly.
form of motorsports.
Like there are talks about NADA and all. NADA came to National Anti-Doping Agency.
Okay.
So they came for the Gymkhana finals. So they did a like full drug test and everything for all the finalists. So we were very supportive of them and all. So see, as an organizer, we have finite resources,
Okay.
right? And sometimes we need help. So this is something the federation can help us out with even
Of
more.
course, they should in fact.
If they can add to the steward's duty to basically keep a like a random checks and all, and we'll be like fully supportive. Like end of the day, he is helping us out in itself, right?
Of course.
I don't want anyone who is not fit to drive
Sure.
on the track.
Sure.
And sorry if you're flouting the rules, and if you get caught, there is no refund for you and all. There is penalizing action against you only coming. So some strictness has been there, and more is would be followed in future. And but the people, it's a community sport, right?
Yeah.
There's no there's not been any like any bad experiences as such.
Okay.
It's pretty like people enjoy themselves there.
Okay.
Sometimes that experience can be for the wrong crowd or anything. But then again, in general, everything works in harmony as in the sport. The point is like the car culture and the motorsport is like pretty much like intermixing at our events, right? Like I told you that not everyone can be a driver,
Right.
competitor,
Right.
but sometimes people just come there to watch and spectate. Sometimes and it's free for all the spectators to come and watch, right? So but normally we have had like a lot of families come and all and enjoy
Oh, wow.
throughout the day. So it's a family friendly event. And whatever feedback we get from the competitors and all our like stakeholders in this, we take it very seriously, and we try and improve on all those things. So again, with the finite resources we have, we try and improve it
Understandable.
whatever way.
Understandable.
And there are some events where we have like so many other contingencies that we need to take care of. So some things basically slip through our like there are slip ups in some other areas, right? Because if we have a team of around 50 people working at the event, right? Sometimes we don't have the senior peoples available on those dates and all, right? So that all things need to be taken care of. Sometimes the team is new, so those all small things. Like there are small glitches, but then the standard operating procedures are in place, where even if we have glitches, we can quickly sort them out.
Sure.
And all the sporting queries, So the COC and the DCOC.
हाँ.
So normally Vishal is also with us. Vishal Kataria, he is the DCOC normally. And then whoever is in the SR, if I am there for everyone to help them out with the sporting queries.
Okay.
And there are so many queries like उसने गलत कैटेगरी में रन चला दिया.
हाँ.
ठीक है. चीटिंग हो गई. ये हो गया हो गया. Now it's a very tricky thing for me as an organizer. Right. I want to act. But then the FMSCI rules say how you have to act. I tell them to please bring a protest. Right. Because now what is happening is that, and then I used to be like very proactive in helping the guys out, and Hamesha we have taken it very seriously, and we don't like people like, sometimes they do it mistakenly, sometimes they do it purposely. That is something that needs to be done by the federation's support as well, because we can't change the results. The stewards and the scrutineer need to take a call on that.
Sure.
Right. So when I tell people to please bring a protest, so they're like, नहीं आपको देखना चाहिए था and all. I cannot take a call on that directly, because the structure from the federation, the SR has to be done. So I'm telling you, if you're like sure, the protest will be upheld. But the point is, there is a small fee attached with the protest, which in case it gets rejected, that fee is forfeited. So again, that is also there. But now what we do is like, if there is any discrepancy and all, we get the aggrieved parties directly to the stewards with the protest and everything, and they have to basically take a call on that.
Of course.
Because it's their jurisdiction.
Of course.
So, but then again, sometimes then we get the bad name that BND के event पे उसने गलत class में चलाई, I felt cheated and all again. But our hands are also tied in that. But we want to help you out in any which way we can, and this is the procedure. So that's why we tell you the procedure. This is how it has to be done. And normally these things, and a lot of people thankfully put protest as well, because if you let these incidents go without putting a protest and all, then people still keep on
Sure.
And they say कि scrutiny में check नहीं हुआ. So scrutiny, pre-event scrutiny is done by the FMSCA scrutineer, and it's a safety scrutiny. So I think that protocol from the FMSCA also should be gotten better. But then the scrutiny time becomes higher. So for example, if I have 5 race cards, I drive those 5 race cards in all 5 different classes. The scrutineer has to then take rule regulation of all those 5 classes and then read and then check each and everything. Each car will take 1 hour to scrutineer. So the point is, it's a sport. It's a gentleman's sport, and there has to be self-policing.
Correct.
We have to assume everyone is basically declaring the right information. Right. If there are 200 drivers, 200, and there are 500 runs happening, and there are like 200 cars there, you cannot spend 1 hour on each car, right? And that is a FMSCI function. It's not an organizer function, the scrutiny. So it's a tricky situation. But then normally I had, in our days, we used to have same kind of problem when there's in the Zen, the 1 liter and 1.3 conversion was very common. People used to run that 1.3 engine in the less than 1000 cc category. It used to happen that time as well. Same problems were there that time as well. And if someone puts a protest, sometimes it got upheld, sometimes it got like rejected.
Right.
So now those problems have been for decades. These exact same problems. That उसने मॉडिफाई कराई है गाड़ी, वो इस कैटेगरी में हो ही नहीं सकता, चला रहा है. तो लोग तब से कर रहे हैं, तो फेडरेशन के पास इसका आंसर नहीं है. सो दे हैव, तो पहले रीमैप्स होते थे, तो रीमैप्स दे हैव बेसिकली नाउ मेड इट अलाउड बिकॉज दे कांट चेक इट. That is fine. So the rules and regulation that we put in Race Wars India time attack are very simple. What is allowed in stock is like the basic street mod things. Exhaust you can put, intake you can put, coilovers you cannot put, suspension you can't touch. Like the stock regulations are aimed at the street racers.
Correct.
So that they should be like, we can take part as it is in our own car. In the open, you can do any kind of modifications as long as the safety criteria is met.
Okay.
So that's how we just bifurcated it into 2 parts now.
Okay.
So that's how we've kept it simpler. So the basic mods now are stock. like you want your average street racer to come to the track and participate, right? And honestly, just in a NA car, just like, and for everyone is running a remap on the turbos these days, right? So in a NA car, you put exhaust and intake on a stock ECU. So it's marginal gains, honestly. It's not like you've changed the engine and everything. In the turbo cars, the modern cars, like everyone puts a remap these days, right? So and it cannot be checked as well. So that is the point. The FMSA does not have the capacity to check now.
Check it
So
out. नहीं कर
that's how it made it like easier for. So it's easier that you allow a broader window of mods in stock, but then you basically then it's make it simpler, so everyone can then drive in that. They don't have to basically lie. Yeah, so in that way, so that is the issues that we normally get from competitors.
Okay.
That so these small things. So it's a complex scenario where the FMSA intervention is very much needed in a lot of things. The scrutiny and stewards' help is needed in a lot of things, and you'd be glad if there is more active support from the federation for that, and we would love to have more checking, more policing for the drivers, for the cars and everything to make the sport fairer and like, because that is something which they easily have the capability to do.